If I had a nickel for every 2024 movie musical that I decided to review and defend on my channel, I'd have two nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happening twice. Welcome to the channel, mi amigos. Now that it officially has a streaming release, the wider general audience has now been introduced to Emilia Pérez. This is the new movie directed by French director Jacques Audiard, his Spanish language debut. We follow a lawyer who is recruited by a feared cartel leader to facilitate their gender affirmation surgery from male to female and help them turn over their life of crime. And for some reason, this is a musical. So to quickly sum all of this up, it's a drug crime thriller, a trans film, a family drama, a romance film, a telenovela, and a musical. Hearing all of that, it sounds like people were just throwing things at a dartboard and seeing what stuck. But the first festival reviews were kind of promising. It won the jury prize at Cannes. The four leading actresses shared the Best Actress award as an ensemble. France selected this movie as their official bid for International Feature Film at the Oscars, and it's a Best Picture frontrunner right now. I actually saw this in theaters at the beginning of November, and I rewatched it when it went to streaming. I gotta be honest, I really like this movie. It's one of the more unique experiences with a movie that I've had in a while. I'm editing right now, and it kind of clicked to me why I think this is not clicking as well with the community, with the public at large at the moment. It pretty much is the election. You think about what people have just voted for and those people's stances on trans people, on Mexican immigrants. There's literally a bill trying to be passed that discriminates against one singular trans woman in Congress. It does make me think about what would happen if a different outcome occurred. Would this movie be a bit more embraced? I will start with the positives, and I think the acting in this movie is solid. Like I said, the four main actresses shared the Best Actress prize at Cannes, but for my money, Zoe Saldana is doing the most. She's absolutely electric. She plays defense lawyer Rita, who wishes for something more than the position she's currently in. She's a frontrunner for Best Supporting Actress right now. You see her run the spectrum of emotions in her performance. She's dancing the most. She has the most musical moments. There is one scene where she is bouncing back and forth between crying and laughing. It sent a wave of chills just down my body. And then the main catalyst, the title character, Emilia Pérez, is played by Carla Sofia Gascon. She also plays the cartel leader pre-transition named Manitas. Jacques Audiard was going to cast another person to play Manitas, but Carla actually asked the director, can I please play both parts? And let me just say, Carla Sofia Gascon is completely unrecognizable. There's this deadness in her eyes. She does crazy vocal work where she's talking and singing in a lower register. It's the first time in a movie that features a trans character that I've seen the same actor or actress play both pre-operation and post-operation. As Emilia, Gascon is captivating on screen, and I truly felt her ups and downs when it came to her family drama. She just exudes this confidence and natural leadership. I honestly think Carla and Zoe are technically co-leads, but I don't make the rules about how they campaign themselves at the Oscars. And then Selena Gomez is in this movie, and, childhood crush.
Aw, a lot of people have tried. Good luck with that.
She plays Menditas' wife, Jessie. She's basically been pampered as the wife of one of the scariest people in Mexico. I feel like you can infer that she has Mexican roots, but maybe was born in the States because she slips back into English the most. And I'll talk about Adriana Paz because she also was part of the collective that won Best Actress at Cannes. I wish she was in more in the movie though. She's only in Act 3 really. She plays Emilia's new love interest, Epifania. Her introduction is quite ominous and tension-filled. I think she has a beautiful singing voice as well. It's great for what she has written, but again, I just wanted more of her. And speaking of songs, for the most part, I liked them. They are very non-traditional. I think only one or two of them follow a standard verse-chorus structure. For the most part, it's almost like spoken word poetry. It's like hip-hop, rap, some Spanish guitar. Some music is influenced by the diegetic noises in the background. At one point, two characters are driving in a car, and them driving over the dirt road becomes the backbeat for someone to begin a verse. I'm basically saying the music is all over the place. Also, the execution of the music is all over the place. Some songs are sung to each other between characters, some are sung solo, some utilize background extras and are in full-blown choreography. The only thing that's kind of semi-relevant to music is a karaoke scene. My favorite songs from the movie are Para, which is a song about the hope of finding your loved ones after they've been disappeared by the cartels. And then El Mal, which is ironically about all the bad people that attend a gala and fundraise to help fight against their own crimes and undoings. Zoe Saldana eats this up. I want this performed at the Oscars with as many people as you can. And all that being said, I don't think this movie justifies itself as a musical. Thematically, there doesn't seem to be a reason for it. There is this cultural aspect of music in Mexico, and that's what that opening shot of the mariachi is. Lyrically and thematically speaking, mariachi sing about love, betrayal, politics, death, revolution, machismo culture. It's all semi-relevant to Emilia Pérez, but those are themes in like all music. The final song is the closest thing you will get to a mariachi feeling and sounding song, and it's a tribute ballad. I don't know, I just liked all the songs individually, but the more I think about it, the more they kind of grind against each other, trying to become a cohesive musical. And I'll give you this, the story is also very messy. Tonally, things change pretty quick, from all the tension that involves the drug cartel to post-procedure feeling a lot of empathy for Emilia. I teared up at one point, and then, whether intentionally or not, there is a lot of humor in this movie. The thing that ties a lot of the story together is this theme of being at a crossways in life and manifesting the next steps to achieve what you want in life. Emilia has always wanted to live the life she was meant to. She tells the surgeon that ultimately does her surgery how she was contemplating offing herself, but it wasn't fair to leave this earth without living the life that she was supposed to. She has just always grown up in the cartel in that hardened environment, and to be taken seriously in that environment, you have to be tough, you have to be masculine. Once she leaves her life of crime behind, Emilia finds reconciliation for her crimes when she begins to help the families of violence find their loved ones and put them to rest. Rita feels stuck in her career and her personal life. Jessie feels stuck in her marriage. Epifania has been living in fear for many years as well. All three of them take the risk and the chances to change that. Another thing that I really don't like in this movie, the editing. It's just these weird choices of edits. Lots of fade outs to blacks, some cross fading, even sometimes in some of the musical parts, they just like cut and it's super obvious that we're cutting to something different of the same view. My favorite missed edit is in El Mal. 3 people break before they were supposed to, and we didn't have another cut of this. Overall, it just feels extremely messy. But now we have to talk about what everyone's complaining about, and rightfully so. People are taking issue with some of the aspects of the trans experience that is portrayed in this movie. Let's address something obvious real quick.
Take a look at me! What am I?
I am a straight, cis, Filipino-American man. I don't know the trans experience. I'll never know the trans experience. I am also still learning to fall in love with the medium of cinema, so my experience with trans-focused films are very limited. This is a movie directed by a straight, cis French man. You do have reservations about how he would execute this movie. The other thing is, no one's trans experience is one-to-one with another person's trans experience. I read some reviews from some trans critics to try to get a feel about what they think is wrong with the film. And the reviews don't completely drag Emilia Pérez. A lot of the reviews actually differ from each other about what they do not like about it. If I were to list every single nitpick about the trans representation in this film, we'd be here all day. I'm just going to touch on the ones that I noticed. Some say that the trans tropes introduced make the movie boring and unoriginal. And if that's the case, please point me to the films that Emilia Pérez borrows from, and I don't mean that with any kind of sarcasm, because I was genuinely engrossed in the story. I want to see what I'm missing out on when it comes to trans cinema. There is this whole song in a Bangkok medical center that's sensationalizing the medical surgeries, and it doesn't really sit right with me lyrically.
Men to woman, or woman to men.
Man to woman,
from penis to vagina.
But it just shows how embraced and accessible those surgeries are in that part of the world. When Emilia finally goes for surgery, she does everything all at once, and she's bandaged from head to toe like a mummy. In my head, I was like, there's no way. That would be so much pain. No one would recommend doing all those surgeries all at once. There is one song from one of Emilia's kids where he says that Emilia smells like his father, and then proceeds to list a bunch of things that are more reminiscent of Mexico and the outdoors. I know that Emilia would not smell like a man because of the HRT, but the kid associating homesickness and comfort with his father, whom Emilia reminds him of, it's kind of sweet, but I don't know how well it really works. And I know that's one thing that everyone is talking about. One of Emilia's arcs is how she is coping with her past as a crime boss by outwardly performing acts of service towards her victims' families. She does all these outward acts, but she hasn't put in the work to move on in her mindset past her criminal past. She reverts to a lot of certain tactics like intimidation on Jesse, dropping to a lower register in her voice. She still leads like a crime boss and uses Rita as a pawn or a mediator for all her endeavors. The gala that is funding her nonprofit is full of corrupt politicians and criminal leaders, the same ones that she's fighting against. But she says these are the only people I know. Her headspace is still within the mindset of running a illegal crime syndicate. Some say it's how like a reflection of femininity equals good and masculinity equal bad. I think it very much is just reverting back to the crime boss mentality and not to a man's mentality. And then there's the big climactic ending. Something happens and Emilia is dead named and misgendered. I can't speak to what specifically happens for spoiler reasons. All I'll say is if I was in the same position, the last thing I would be thinking about is using proper pronouns. The hard thing to talk about this movie, the fact that the entire story does cross between the gender affirmation surgery. When is it appropriate to speak about Emilia before surgery and after surgery, especially when they use the ploy that they think that the cartel leader is dead? If anything, the times that Rita dead names Emilia would be more scrutinized, right? Rita being the only person that knows about Emilia's transition. But then everyone else has their own standard critiques about not liking the music, not getting with the story. And still, through all of those complaints, I still walk away with a fairly positive view on Emilia Pérez. Not every trans critic is running this through the mud either. There are some that see this as something good because this is one of the first trans-focused films to reach a wider audience. Most trans artists don't have the funding to put their work in front of a bunch of people. If this isn't necessarily your style, may I suggest I Saw the TV Glow by Jane Schoenbrunn. If something like Emilia Pérez is able to walk now, someone like Jane Schoenbrunn will be able to run later. And remember how I said Carla Sofia Gascon begged Audiard to let her play her character pre-transition? That's another big step ahead of showing the progression that we've made in cinema, period. It may be baby steps, it may seem regressive in the moment, and maybe it could be in retrospect. But these small victories of telling trans stories, maybe it opens doors for people. Maybe more trans artists will be able to tell their stories in the future. And with all that being said, overall, I do give Emilia Pérez 4 out of 5 stars. Absolutely not perfect, but one of the more engrossing movies and interesting and thought-provoking. Just one of the movies of the year.
He has such a way with words.
Thank you for watching. My name is Kyle. I'm still learning to fall in love with the medium of cinema. If you'd like to join me in that journey, feel free to subscribe, to hit the bell, and to follow me on Letterboxd. And this was genuine. Please comment below any films that you think may have influenced Emilia Pérez. Any other trans artists, any other trans films that I should be on the lookout for. Comment those below as well. Don't forget to like the video. Until next time, that's a wrap.